Not being bold enough in the offseason can result in your team stagnating for years to come.
You are what your record is. Not discouraged, but disappointed. We begin this offseason, which is going to involve a lot of work.
With the 2023 NFL regular season now over, I think it's the perfect time to analyze which teams need to undergo a new course of action. Let's dive into 5 NFL teams that need to finally rebuild this offseason, and 5 up-and-coming teams that need to go all in. Rebuild New England Patriots. It's time for Robert Kraft to overrule every other voice inside Gillette Stadium and hit that big reset button. The problem with the Patriots is they're still too well coached and have a dynamic defense that it's going to be hard to accumulate those franchise-changing top 5 draft picks. But at the same time, they're a 7 to 8 win team at best, and obviously nowhere close to title contention. The Patriots need to basically plan a scorched earth tank job for 2024. The main thing is rebuilding the entire offense from scratch. New offensive line, adios to Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, and goodbye to just about every offensive weapon except Ramondre Stevenson and Demario Douglas. Christian Gonzalez should be the only untouchable on defense. The Patriots just need to save their money, trade any veteran player with value, and most importantly, get a QB with their first-round pick. Go all in, Chicago Bears. The Bears finally started coming together and showed some legitimate long-term promise in the final half of 2023. Justin Fields looked like a future Pro Bowl quarterback thanks to the arrival of superstar wide receiver DJ Moore. So along with Fields, Khalil Herbert, and Deontay Foreman, they now form a dynamic 3-headed monster at running back. After a sluggish start, the defense showed remarkable improvement thanks to the arrival of trade deadline pickup Montez Sweat. Sweat, Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, Jaquan Brisker, and Tyreek Stevenson are a promising nucleus to build the defense around. So we ask this. What are the Bears waiting for? This is their chance to finally go all in and close the gap with the Detroit Lions in the NFC North. Chicago can either trade Fields and use the top pick on Caleb Williams or Drake May, or they can use the first overall pick on Marvin Harrison Jr., or they can trade the first overall pick and acquire more draft capital, which in turn can be used to make another blockbuster move. Look, either way, Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus have plenty of enticing options here, so one way or another, they'll have plenty of draft capital to make a move. And with plenty of long-term cap space, why shouldn't they spend lavishly in free agency? Rebuild Denver Broncos. We would have endorsed the idea of the Broncos going all in with Russell Wilson as their starting QB in 2023, but clearly, Sean Payton and company no longer view Russ as the guy. The club's curious decision to bench him for their final 2 games over disagreements with injury guarantees in his contract kind of says it all. The Broncos threatened to bench Wilson during their bye week if he wouldn't adjust the injury contracts. Well, he didn't bite, so here we are. If Denver wants to cut Wilson this offseason, then the choice is pretty simple. Take one of the many promising QB prospects with your first-round pick. Sure, they won't be in Caleb Williams or Drake May territory, but J.J. McCarthy, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, and Michael Penix Jr. are all going to be options here. Trade Jerry Jeudy because it's just not working out here. Trade Justin Simmons while his value is high. Rebuild the offense from scratch just the way that Coach Payton envisions it. Retool the receiving core around Cortland Sutton, but there's just no other untouchables on offense. I think 2024 is going to be the time for the Broncos to blow it all up and restart entirely. Go all in, Indianapolis Colts. Rookie QB Anthony Richardson was limited to 4 games, and superstar running back Jonathan Taylor was practically sidelined for half of 2023. And yet, in what was supposed to be a rebuilding year for Indy, the organization finished with a winning record in the gauntlet that is the AFC. What a testament to the job of first-year head coach Shane Steichen. So, heading into next season, the Colts have a very promising core, featuring Richardson, Taylor, Josh Downs, Ryan Kelly, Quentin Nelson, DeForest Buckner, Samson Ebukam, and Kwity Paye. Bottom line is, the Colts rebuild is already over. They're locked in and ready to contend in the AFC now. So just imagine how much more scary this offense will be with a healthy A-Rich and Taylor next year. This just sort of feels like the perfect time for the Colts to get aggressive and make several win-now moves. The Colts just need a couple of more game changers on defense, and like one more Pro Bowl caliber pass catcher to actually help Richardson in the passing game. Do that, and they just might emerge as a new conference heavyweight. Rebuild Tennessee Titans. Truth be told, the Titans should have rebuilt last year. Tannehill certainly isn't coming back next year, and a 30-year-old Henry needs to be cut loose as well.
Titan fans, I just want to say thank you for the greatest 8 years of my life.
Star pass rusher Denico Autry can walk to free agency as well as he prepares to enter his age 34 year. Honestly, the Titans should trade just about any notable players over the age of 30 this offseason. trade DeAndre Hopkins in his contract year. Get some value for him. See if you can get something of value for Harold Landry and Amani Hooker too. The Titans are a bottom 10 team with these productive veterans on their roster, so why not trade them for draft picks and tank for a year or two? Look, Tennessee blew it last year by not beginning this rebuild when they had the chance. But hey, it's better late than never. Go all in, Atlanta Falcons. What exactly do the Falcons have here? 1, a borderline top 10 defense, and hey, guess what? Defense wins championships. 2, a loaded set of offensive weapons. See Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Tyler Algier. And 3, a top 10 offensive line. And yet somehow this team just suffered its 3rd straight losing season under head coach Arthur Smith and GM Terry Fontenot. Other than having one of football's worst QB rooms, the Falcons roster is loaded and practically ready to win now. In other words, it is long overdue for the front office to enter the win now approach, all by getting a new franchise QB. Maybe they can win the Kirk Cousins sweepstakes. Maybe they take a chance on Russell Wilson. Maybe they trade for Justin Fields if the Bears decide to draft a new QB. Or hey, maybe the Falcons shoot their shot in round 1 on a QB with their 1st round pick. Bottom line is, the Falcons have to be aggressive to get their next guy. Rebuild New Orleans Saints. Yeah, it's nice to have a shot at your division every year with the opportunity to host a playoff game, but the Saints just wrapped up year 3 of the post-Drew Brees era, and they're still not really on a clear long-term path. Veterans like Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Cameron Jordan, Demario Davis, Marshawn Lattimore, and DeMarcus May are still productive and thus ensure the Saints won't bottom out. Most of those guys are on the wrong side of 30 and nearing the very end of their primes. That means the Saints ought to just trade or cut most of their pricey veterans and start the tank job for 2024 or 2025. They can load up on picks by trading those guys mentioned above. Chris Olave is the only young franchise pillar that should definitely be part of the long-term picture. Everyone else should be on the table though, because 7 to 10 wins in one playoff game should not be the club's only goal anymore. Go all in, New York Jets. The Jets went all in last year by trading for Aaron Rodgers and signing a ton of his ex-teammates, as well as other offensive weapons in Dalvin Cook and Mecole Hardman. Unfortunately, their highly anticipated season came crashing down minutes into Rodgers' debut when he tore his Achilles in Week 1. After that, the Jets were doomed. Good news, Rodgers has already vowed to return in 2024. Franchise cornerstones like Quinnen Williams, CJ Mosley, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, and Breece Hall are returning next year. So the job here is pretty simple for the Jets front office. Stay aggressive and keep trying to build around the 4-time league MVP next year. With competent QB play, the Jets would have been a playoff team this year. Rodgers does more than provide competent QB play. He's a winner and a needle mover all on his own. But given that he'll be 41 next season, the Jets' window to win is now. Rebuild Las Vegas Raiders. After one fluky playoff trip to the postseason in 2021, the Raiders, or Mark Davis at the very least, have fooled themselves into believing that they've nearly closed the gap with the Kansas City Chiefs and the other AFC powerhouses. The Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler hirings were absolutely disastrous. The Chandler Jones free agent signing might go down as the worst in franchise history, and the Devontae Adams trade has been meh at best. And to cap off the circus, well, Derek Carr's 2022 contract extension, 2023 release, and the subsequent signing of Jimmy Garoppolo. Remind me, how did that all go again? Davis has just been okay with mediocrity for far too long. That needs to stop. This is the time for the Raiders to accept that they can't be stuck in the mud and that a tear-it-all-down rebuild is absolutely necessary. Go all in, Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love has had a spectacular first full season as Green Bay starter. A 30 TD season without a single weapon that threatened for 1,000 yards rushing or receiving? That's what I'm talking about. Sign us up for that. Love pieced together a fantastic year with guys like Christian Watson, Aaron Jones, Luke Musgrave all missing considerable time, and with top offensive lineman David Bakhtiari missing all but one game. Love is indeed the guy in Green Bay, but he's got lots of enticing pieces to help him along the way too. And you know, Love is only going to get better from here. The Packers' new window is just beginning to open, and they cannot afford to waste it. I mean, they never really went all in again for Aaron Rodgers after winning Super Bowl 45, and, well, how did that work out? The Packers brass must learn from its past mistakes and try to build up a winner as soon as possible. They'll have a in his prime young QB steering the ship to keep the window open for a long time. But what other NFL teams need to rebuild, and which clubs do you think should go all in? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton, and hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.